A very good morning to all my lovely children. Your teacher, Savita Ma'am from Sanskriti School, is back again, and together we are going to look, think, and observe today, children. Right? But what are we going to observe? You must be wondering, right? Okay, so let me see if you can think about it. We are going to talk about something that you have learned to save in your previous class. What is it? Something that we must save? Something you see nowadays? What is it? It's rain, it's water, children. Yes, we are going to talk about water and something that you have just learned recently about water cycle. Right? So what is cycle? Water do you know? What is cycle? Cycle means something, children, that keeps happening again and again and again. So what happens again and again in water cycle? I'm sure you all have learned it, but today we will quickly going to revise it once again. Let's see if we remembers it or not. We are going to revise water cycle. Right, children? Water cycle. Now what happens in water cycle? I'm going to quickly tell you a short story that will help us revise the concept. I will tell you the story of this little raindrop. Who is this? This is Drippy. His name is Drippy. And children, this is an ocean here in front of me. We'll just assume that this is an ocean. And Drippy is playing in this ocean very happily. Okay? Yes. And there are many other water droplets along with Drippy here who are playing with him in the ocean. They are there, just flowing and jumping with the tides, just having a nice time. Next day morning, children, what happens, Sun rises in the morning. Yes, Mr. Sun is up, ready to give his energy to all of us. Now, sun starts to shine. Now, Drippy and his friends who are there playing in the water starts to feel a little warmer initially. Yes, and after some time, the sun rays are shining brightly, falling on the water. Now, the Drippy and his friends and the entire water body becoming even warmer, warmer, and after some time, it becomes hot. And then you know what happens, children? The sun starts to shine really bright, very bright, and it is falling down on this water body and making this water very hot, very hot. Right? Look, the sun rays are there all over. And now, what happens when the sun is shining very brightly? The water, the Drippy and all his water droplets, they started to disappear. They disappeared. And then you know what happened? They turned into water vapor. They turned into gas. Right? You can't see it, right? They turned into water vapor. Oh. What do we call it? We call it evaporation. What do we call it, children? We call it evaporation. Okay. So the Drippy and his friends starts to turn into water vapor and they start moving upwards, up. They are moving up. And then what happens when they go up, children? When they go very high up, the air is very cool there. Hai na? Sometimes when you go to a hill station, you see that the air is very cool there and you keep your warm clothes with you. Hai na? Because it's very cool as you go up. So now when these water vapors went up, they again turned into what? Do you want to know what it turns again into? They turn into water droplets again up in the sky. There were many of them were turning again into water droplets together like this, children. And together they made a big cloud. Look here. It's a heavy cloud. And there are so many water droplets that have gone inside, squeezed together. All of them. And you know what do we call this process? When the water vapors when goes up and again turns into water droplets, children. I think we call it condensation. What do we call it? Condensation. Condensation. Okay. Now, what happens after condensation? What happens after condensation? The water droplets that are there in the cloud, children, they starts to come down. The cloud becomes so heavy that they can't hold any more water and they all decides that we must go. And then they let go. The water falls down in the form of, yes, in the form of rain, in the form of snow sometimes, and in the form of hail also, right? So that is called precipitation. What do we call it, children? We call it precipitation. Look, when all the water droplets are coming down and it starts to rain. Okay, so we call it precipitation. Okay, right. So what happened to Drippy and his friends? First, they were playing so nicely in the water and sun. The energy of the sun, the heat of the sun made them very hot. They went up, evaporated, and when they went up, they again turned into small teeny mini water droplets, and we called it condensation. And all these water droplets in the cloud made the cloud so heavy that they decided to let go, and they all fell down in the form of rain, hail and snow, and we called it condensation, right? Wow, that is something so interesting, no, children? Huh? And it will be even more interesting to see actually if I can show you condensation, children. So are you ready to see that? Let me try. I will try my best to show you. Mr. Sun, will you please rest here now? Right. Okay. So children, can we assume that this is our ocean? We can't bring the ocean right here. So we will assume that this is the ocean. And now Mr. Sun is shining very brightly. And there is some water in the ocean. And the water is getting heated because of sun's energy getting heated. Now children, the sun is shining very brightly that after some time, you know what happens? Just watch bachas. Keep your eyes closed for a while. The sun is shining brightly, and the water has started to boil, children, very hot. The water has become very hot. Okay, and then let's see if we can see some evaporation here. Do you see any water droplets here, children? No, we don't see any, right? So let's see. I am going to place this plate over this hot water, this ocean. Now the evaporation that you saw, if you can see, just see closely. If you can see the evaporation happening, do you see some water vapor going up? Can you see them? I hope you see them. And now let's see what happens when they cools down. I am going to keep this cloud over this and we wait for a while. Now while we are waiting for condensation to happen, what we will do, we will sing this song of water cycle, right? Okay, so water travel in a cycle. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Evaporation, condensation, precipitation. Okay, so that was something we learned about water, and I think children, the Water vapor is again turning into water droplet. We'll wait just for 1 more minute and then we will see if you can see some teeny mini water droplets. Right? Oh, I'm very eager to see them. Yes. So I think we can just check now, children, if the water vapor has turned into water droplets. Let me check. Okay, 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 my dear children. Did you see this? Can you see some teeny mini water droplets here? Do you see some water droplets here? Ah, that is condensation that has happened just now. Okay, look here. Condensation. This is called condensation. And now, when this cloud will become very heavy, it will say we can't hold it anymore and they will let go. And when they will let go, what will happen? You know, children, this all the water from this cloud will fall down in the form of rain. Yes. Okay, that was lovely. We learned about water cycle. So, what are you going to do? Children, you can see Mama and Daddy working in the kitchen, and when Mama is making tea or coffee, or when she's boiling water or she's cooking anything, you just see, go and observe that you will see the evaporation happening there, right? The water is turning into gas and going up, up. Right, that's evaporation. You can check that. And nowadays you can see precipitation also outside. And of course, we can't see condensation happening, but we try to kind of see now the condensation, how it happens. Right? And don't try to do this all by yourself. Huh? You must take mama and daddy's help if you want to do this. Right, children? Okay. So that was so wonderful talking to you all about this water cycle. And thank you, Mr. Sun, so much for helping my children learn this water cycle. Right, children? So quickly go and you can just have a look in the kitchen what's happening. If you can see some evaporation happening, you can try with mama's help if you can make the condensation happen. Okay? Yes. So that's all for today, children. Quickly go and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.